This is the newest Audi R8, the V10 Plus. That's kind of like calling it the R8 V10 more, but it is kind of fitting. Because for $30,000, you get a car that is lighter and more powerful than the standard one. Power goes up to 550, 0 to 60 comes down to 3.2. Carbon ceramic brakes are standard. They've changed the inside too. Lighter seats and thinner sound deadening are hidden behind beautiful diamond stitched leather. Oh, I'm Zack, by the way, and if you're wondering why you're hearing my voice instead of Matt's, there's a simple explanation. It's noon, we're in Malibu, there's an Audi R8 V10 Plus launch, and Matt's in Sweden. Happy birthday to me. I have always loved the 4.2 V8 for the Audis. I feel like they sound as close to a muscle car as any other modern kind of, I guess, refined engine that's out there. And I always said if I bought an R8, I would want a 4.2 and I'd supercharge it, but it's a different camp than the V10. The V10 has this broad power band. You can use it, you can stay in second, through this entire canyon if you want, or use third. There's plenty of power. 400 foot-pounds of torque, people might say that that's low. It's not. It's just you've been reading too many forums. 4.2 is like the Hulk, and this is like the Human Torch. He's just like, fuck it, let's go! And he's like, lights himself on fire. You know what? This has the same benefit as the new Viper with the V10, like the real broad power band. So it builds progressively, and you kind of feel there's no wallop anywhere. It's just here's a little more speed, here's a little more speed. And you can kind of just play with that like a little volume knob. Turn in super easy. Steering rack is like perfect speed. You won't ever really need to cross your hands over. This car is fucking quick. I know around a track recently, Motor Trend got the GTR around it 2 seconds faster, but that's only in the hands of Randy Post. I mean, no one will complain about how this car feels or handles and how fast it goes. This is a phenomenal automobile. The last Audi R8 V10 had the much despised paddle shifted automatic that no one liked because it was a little bit clunky and a little slow. And so now we've got the new 7-speed dual clutch, and like every other car with a dual clutch, it's great. 458s have a tiny bit more power. There's cars that shift 10 milliseconds faster. If you can tell the difference in 10 milliseconds, you're a robot and you have the personality of a leaf. So, Ferraris have 5 modes, and other things have, you can move this, that. The RS5 we had, you could change the throttle, you could change it to dynamic mode. This just has normal and sport. If you're driving in automatic mode and you click it to sport, it went from gear 7 to 3. So it's definitely aggressive, and it also shows you kind of how comfortable automatic mode is trying to make it. It shifts to the 7th gear as quickly as possible to try to get that 23 highway MPG. But as soon as you hit sport, it goes, okay, and it's like time to play. I mean, for people that say it's too stiff compared to the regular V10, or not too stiff, just stiffer, and they preferred the V10, Top Gear said that. I mean, it's not going to float over things like a Bentley or like a Mercedes, but do you really want that in a supercar? Seems like the quest is to make this total dual-purpose supercar that can ride like a Bentley, and then if you hit a different button, it sinks down to like an aerial. I don't know. Everyone complains that a BMW's gotten too soft, but then if you take an R8 V10, which is a supercar, and make it stiffer, they complain it's too stiff. Journalists seem to be like 5-year-olds with a sibling who's 4. So your 5-year-old wants a juice box. You give your 5-year-old the juice box, and he goes, okay, thanks. And then you give a different flavor to your 4-year-old, and then the 5-year-old throws a fit. And I want that one. It's like, oh, the BMWs are too soft. Okay, we stiffened the Audi R8 V10 supercar. Now it's too stiff. I want the soft one again. It's like, make up your mind, kid. Whoa, Volvo over the line.
Yeah, Volvo. Stay out of Malibu, Volvo.
Everyone complains like a GTR is real heavy, and this is about 200 pounds lighter, but the way it feels around you, Yeah, it's like you're a football player and you're wearing pads. You know, it's a little bit heavier, but it's gonna move with you, and this totally does that. Oh. It's so smart, so well engineered, so composed, but without like the Porsche thing where you have the inside wheel braking for you, or like the GTR people say it does the work for you. This is just, here's a really good package, here's a really well engineered car, and then it just gives it to you. So negatives for this car, pretty few and far between. The interior is super well laid out, nice looking. It's very similar though to the last R8s. What that means is that if someone hops in this car, they might not notice it's a 2013, and in a few years, it might just look like, you know, an RS5 or any other Audi. The only other complaint I have about this car is the seat bolsters, which are just too wide for me. I know I am not the size of the average American man who is able to actually buy this car, so I'm obviously not their market. Same thing when I bought an S.p.A, the seats were for other people, not for me. I move around a little bit too much, so I have to brace my knee on the center console or brace my arm a little bit when I turn. So I would like a little bit more seat bolstering. I think the real solution, which, you know, Infiniti has done and Lexus, is electric seat bolsters. Like in a $180,000 car, why not just have seat bolsters that you can adjust? It's like Velcro shoelaces. I mean, they don't sell you a pair of 15s that are only one tightness. Throw in electric seat bolsters, and I have no complaints for this car. And then you start to drive it, and you don't care that it doesn't hold you in place. Oh man, eyes in the corner. So sticky. So sticky. Yeah, drive this every day? Sure. No complaints. If you're shopping for this car, you have a lot of other options. Italian, British, Japanese, most of which are slightly faster, on paper at least. But you don't go driving around shouting your spec sheet out the window. A big engine and a fast transmission, those are prerequisites in this market. The verdict comes down to how the car feels as a whole. The R8 is one of those rare cars that you instantly feel comfortable in. It's stiffer, lighter, and faster than the regular V10, but it can be so docile you forget how fast it really is. Do I still prefer the 4.2? I don't know. I still prefer the noise, but horsepower is like money. More is better. What I do know is that this car is the perfect compromise between a 458 and a 911 turbo. It's prettier and more rare than the Porsche, but you won't freak out every time a leaf touches the paint the way you will with a Ferrari. And the oil changes will be cheaper. It's a supercar that truly feels the part, yet it can be enjoyed every single day. And that is a gift from the gods.